I think that as you hear, as recently as yesterday, President-elect Trump talk about trade and how tariffs need to be done fairly, let us have honest conversations. I think it's helpful for us to speak bluntly. But let us use that as a starting point to negotiate much more deeply than we do. The U.S. and India don't really talk in ambitious ways about trade. And yet we've expanded trade tenfold since 2001. Think about that for a second. We haven't really made it easier, and despite the difficulties on both sides, tenfold increase in trade to become the #1 trading partner of India. Imagine what we could do if we actually sat down and had honest conversations. If India said, hey, we want to be part of your critical minerals conversation, as we've agreed to now, that we want to get into the Investment Reduction Act and have Indian companies be able to create great next generation energy products in the United States. And the U.S. could say, you might be down 95% from what tariffs used to be, but it's still the highest tariffed major economy in the world here in India. And too often there are barriers that take too long and they're too arbitrary on everything from labor to land, as we have too in the United States. But imagine if we said we would carve out in, I would say, telecommunications, that we would carve out in semiconductors, that we'd carve out in defense and space, that we'd carve out in health and pharmaceuticals and biotechnology, that we would carve out in energy and climate solutions. I think all of those and any of those, I would add to that tourism, which we always forget about, in education. They're big businesses, and I don't look at either of those as first and foremost businesses, but I know Prime Minister Modi, looking at creating a lot of jobs, is putting a focus on the tourism industry. I've noticed that since I've come here, since I was 14 for the first time, that we've actually seen the number of Americans, for instance, that are coming here go down as India has become even more miraculous and beautiful to explore. And like I said, I'll be the Indian ambassador to the U.S. about this, but I've gone to 24 of the 28 states. I'm hoping to get to all of them still before my time as ambassador comes to an end. And to help India get more from that export, and vice versa, Indians traveling to the United States who have difficulty getting a visa, I tell folks back in Washington, this is an issue of our trade deficit, this is an issue of our jobs, that Indian visitors spend more than any other visitors, even from Europe, from China, from all those places, and as we've seen other countries drop off in visitors, imagine if we provided opportunities for more Indians to visit America, how good it would be for our economy and our tourism sector. So I think tourism and hospitality I would throw in there too, absolutely is something critical, and culture. I think the culture sector will be huge.
If you like the video, do like, comment, share and subscribe.